Welcome to this podcast where we embark on a journey of self discovery, identity, and the pursuit of freedom. I am your Dr. Sai Bhaskar Reddy, and today I invite you to explore the profound themes from my book, How to Lose Identity for Freedom. This discussion is not just about the concepts of identity and freedom, but about understanding how our identities shape us, confine us, and ultimately how we can transcend them to experience true freedom. The essence of I, a simple letter, yet it carries the weight of an entire universe within it. The I can be one's identity, self, ego, spirit, or soul. It is the core around which we build our lives, our perceptions, and our stories. But what is this I? It is truly who we are, or is it just a reflection, a construct of both our internal beliefs and the external world's perceptions? Throughout our lives, we strive to define this I, to make it unique, recognizable, and significant. But in doing so, do we really understand what lies beneath? Is I just a label, or is it something deeper, something that connects us to the cosmos, to everything that exists? As we navigate through this podcast, let us delve into the different facets of I and explore how, by dismantling this identity, we can achieve true freedom, a state of oneness with the universe where the boundaries of self dissolve into the infinite. Humbleness, the foundation of freedom. Humility is not a weakness, it is the foundation of wisdom. When we understand that there is nothing less on this earth, we begin to tame the inner I. A humble I accepts responsibility, not out of obligation, but out of understanding that everything is interconnected. Success and failure are two sides of the same coin, and they both contribute to the growth of I. In this humility, we find contentment, peace, and happiness. Imagine the moment when a person is told they have little time left to live. Suddenly, the ego diminishes, and what remains is compassion, generosity, and an overwhelming desire to do good. The I becomes small, human, and humble. This small I is what we should aspire to, for it is in humility that we find the secret to true peace and happiness. Leadership beyond the individual. Leadership is often misunderstood as the domain of the powerful, the visible, the loud. But true leadership is subtle, quiet, and often invisible. It is like the rudder of a ship, far behind, yet steering the entire vessel in the right direction. Leadership is not about being in front, it is about being in sync with the collective consciousness. Like a flock of birds that moves as one. Leadership is about understanding that each individual I is part of a greater whole. It is about taking up challenges not to elevate oneself but to elevate everyone. Great leaders have suffered not because they were weak but because they understood the importance of suffering in building compassion. Suffering humbles the I, makes it a better leader. Gained the illusion of grandeur. Looking good is an innate desire. We all want to present the best version of ourselves to the world, but this desire can create a false I, an inflated identity that is often more illusion than reality. Consider the example of someone occupying a position known for corruption. Regardless of their personal integrity, the identity they carry is tainted by the perceptions associated with their position. Similarly, our names, our communities, our appearances all contribute to how others perceive us, often unfairly. This I is a fragile construct built on societal beliefs, false perceptions, and external validation. The real challenge is to maintain a true I in the face of these external pressures, to avoid feeding the giant monster of ego and instead focus on the simple, honest self. Prominence, the fleeting nature of I. Prominence is a double edged sword. It can elevate the I to great heights, but it can also become a burden. When the I is defined by space and time, it becomes vulnerable to change. What is important today may be forgotten tomorrow. A fire extinguisher is crucial during a fire, but when the fire is out, it is just another object on the wall. Similarly, our prominence is often tied to circumstances beyond our control. The challenge is to understand that prominence is not the goal. It is a byproduct of fulfilling a need. The true I does not seek the limelight but finds contentment in contributing to the whole, whether noticed or not. Compromise, the art of letting go. Life is full of compromises, and each compromise chips away at the I, whether it's giving up something for love, for survival, or for the greater good. These moments of letting go are what shape the true I. In moments of despair, like during a natural calamity or a personal tragedy, the I becomes insignificant. All that matters is survival, compassion, and the connection to others. These moments teach us the value of humility, the importance of sharing, and the strength found in community. Compromise is not a weakness, it is a strength that comes from understanding the impermanence of the I. It is about letting go of ego, embracing the moment, and finding freedom in simplicity. Unification, the oneness of I. The act of unification, whether through love, marriage, or community, is the merging of two I's into one. This oneness is not about losing oneself, but about finding strength in connection. The I becomes part of something greater, and in this union, we find purpose and meaning. In Hindu symbolism, the concept of Ardhanarishvara, the union of Shiva and Parvati, represents this perfect balance of male and female energies. It is a reminder that the true I is not singular, but a harmonious blend of opposites, creating a whole that is greater than the sum of its parts. Freedom, the ultimate liberation. Finally, we arrive at freedom, the ultimate goal of losing the I. Freedom is not about living without rules or constraints. It is about living without the burden of ego. It is the state where the I is no longer confined by identity, expectations, or societal norms. True freedom is found in the simple moments, in the way we dress when no one is watching, in the way we think when we are alone, in the way we live when we are free from judgment. It is about understanding that the I is just a construct, and that by letting go of it, we open ourselves to infinite possibilities. As I conclude this podcast, I invite you to reflect on your own I, which defines you, what confines you, and most importantly, what would it take for you to let go of your I and experience true freedom. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Remember, losing your identity is not about losing yourself. It is about finding the true self that lies beyond the boundaries of the I, that is freedom.